Dude, I got a gnat in my eye last night.
What?
Yeah. It hurt. I cried. Huh?
What was he doing hanging out in your eye?
I don't know. Hey, welcome to This is Gravel. I'm Bobby Thompson. As always, LeLan Danes. We are on episode number... How do you say that in Spanish?
That's 10 for our English-speaking friends and those that can't count fingers.
Okay, so we're on episode number 10. What's going on this week?
All kinds of stuff. We at Dirty Kansas Promotions are hard at work for Lunar Kansas, which is our nighttime ride, not a race, but a night ride through the Flint Hills under the full moon. So every summer we find a full moon weekend and send people out into the Flint Hills to enjoy a whole new take on riding gravel.
Nice.
Yeah. And this year we've added a run for our running friends. So,
why would you run?
That's a good question. I would find one of these crazy folks that identify as a runner and ask them. But for those that enjoy travel by foot and not by bike, because it's a whole lot cheaper for one, same amount of enjoyment for those people.
I'm going to ride with my wife and my oldest daughter. My youngest daughter just wants ice cream. So I'm going to ride with my oldest daughter. We'll see how far we get. And she's super excited. She's never ridden underneath the stars before.
And when you say ride with, will she be in tow or does she?
She's going to be in tow on what are you, a little tag along type bike or whatever. She likes to think that she pedals and helps out, and she does usually on the downhill. The uphill, she likes to see how hard I can pedal, and she gives me encouragement though.
Nice.
So yeah, it's a good time. It'll be good. It's a good thing that there's an after party afterwards. So
excellent, excellent.
We might need the entire, was it 6 hours? You take off between 6 and 8, right? Yep,
you have between 6 and 8 to leave. It's kind of a self-start based on your pace. And we do that way everyone can finish together opposed to starting together. And the block party will carry on till midnight. So
awesome.
Yeah.
Other than that, been doing a lot of night riding. So we're going to touch on that later in the episode today. And we have some rides coming up.
Yes, and we've been working on our skills. We'll talk a little bit about cornering later in the show.
Skills. With a Z.
Bobby needs
mad skills.
I wish just a little
bump. I was pushing I found my limit.
Finding one's limit.
It's all about finding your limit. So we'll be talking about that later on. Also some cornering skills that LeLan was kind enough to show us on a little video that he put together for us. So
with all this talk of night riding in Lunar Kansas, Bobby has taken the time to provide us with some tips on how to ride at night. So let's hear from Bobby.
Howdy. So we've been doing a fair amount of night riding here this season in Kansas. With the heat and humidity, it's just a nice time to get out, look at the stars and enjoy the evening. A few of you have asked me for some tips on riding at night, so I thought I'd write down a few things. I have five tips to riding at night on gravel roads. The first one is to plan ahead. Make sure that somebody knows where you're going to go out riding. Make sure that someone's going to be available to come get you if you get in trouble. Make sure that one of your friends will actually answer the phone when you call them that late at night, because most sane people are asleep, not riding their bikes out in the middle of nowhere on a gravel road. So just make sure and plan ahead. You know, maybe look at the weather forecast to make sure there's no storms going to pop up while you're out there. Make sure that you have adequate lighting for riding at night. You want to make sure that the lights can light the path for you. We have a lot of loose gravel in Kansas. We have a lot of B roads that can get dried ridges that get kind of sharp and can knock you down pretty easy. So you want to make sure that you have at least 200 lumens to get out there. Really 400 and up is going to be more than adequate. It does help that if you're riding with a cue sheet or a map and you're riding at night and your primary light is actually on your bike, Maybe get a 200 lumen or you know, a lighter light for your helmet so you can look down, see the cue sheet, and keep on riding without trying to stick it out in front of you and wreck. So make sure to have good illumination at night. Protective eyewear. Last night, I can give you a good testament on this. Bugs hurt in the eye when you're riding without protective eyewear. So not only do you want it for pop-up gravel when you're riding in a group, but when you're riding by yourself, you want to be able to protect your eyes, especially if you're wearing contacts, from the bugs flying around. So make sure you have good protective eyewear. Make sure that you can be seen at night. Make sure that others can see you. So, you know, other traffic, make sure you're making your presence known for the animals, the wildlife. We have a lot of deer that like to pop up and run right in front of you. So make sure that, you know, make sure you have adequate lighting in the front of your bike and the rear of your bike that you can be seen at night. Make sure and be aware of your surroundings at night. Maybe it's a good time to leave the music and the headphones at home so that you can hear what's going on around you. Traffic can come up quick, especially if you have you're riding in a group, you have a lot of lights behind you, all of a sudden the car comes up, it's kind of harder to distinguish between the two. So you want to be able to listen to each other when you're on the road. You also want to know when if a dog is coming out quickly from the grass, and it's hard to do that if you're focused on music when you're riding at night. So maybe pay more attention to the stars, pay more attention to the weather, and just enjoy what's around you in the evening. So I hope that helps. Hope you enjoy a little night riding. As you can see, it's getting a little warm out here right now. So I think I'm gonna go take a nap and maybe ride a little bit tonight. Have fun.
Bobby, thank you for those wonderful tips.
I did that.
You did do that all on your own. Producer Matt didn't even have to film that.
You see the windmill?
It was lovely.
Just right.
Birds chirping.
Yeah.
Now everyone hopefully is confident to ride at night.
Hopefully it helps out. That's what I was going for there. So you, on the other hand, why is everything about me? So the gnat hits me in the eye, makes me cry. We do a night riding special. I happen to crash on the corner and get a little bloodied up, and you do a cornering special.
You provide great content.
Yes. Well, you know, I try to help out. So LeLan's going to show us a little bit about cornering on gravel roads.
Important
Enjoy.
stuff. Okay, as always with This Is Gravel, we take a pretty casual approach, but cornering is something that everyone needs to know and improve upon, even if your goals aren't as ambitious as being at the front of the race. So there's three things to always remember when you're cornering. There's the approach, there's the turn itself, and then there's the exit. On the approach, the first thing you want to remember is to be predictable. Whether you're riding by yourself or riding with a group of people, you want to make sure that you're being predictable so as to not cause a disruption, especially if there are other riders around you. Maintain your line, keep your head up, and stay focused on what you're doing. Next, as you're approaching the corner, you want to lower your center of gravity. This gives you more stability on the bike, and so if you're up top, on top of the hoods or on top of the bars, you want to drop down into your drop bars. This gives you more stability as your center of gravity is lowered. The last thing as you approach the corner is you want to keep your eyes up and focused on where you want to go, not where you are. Do not be looking straight down at your tire. As you approach any corner, you want to assess the corner well before you get there. Also, brake before you get to the turn, not while you're in it. When you're braking, your tires lose traction, so you want to have your speed adjusted before you begin your turn. Okay, as you begin your turn, as I mentioned earlier, you want to keep your eyes focused on where you want to go, not where you are. So look through the turn. You're going to apply all of your pressure, all of your weight on the outside pedal. So if I'm turning left, my weight will be on my right foot and my pedal will be all the way down, straight down. This allows, as you're cornering, it puts the weight onto the outside forces and it prevents the bike from sliding out from underneath of you. As you begin your turn, you want to start wide, enter the corner as narrowly as you can, close to the apex of the turn, and then exit wide. This creates the straightest line possible when coming through any corner, and the less you have to actually turn, the faster you can maintain your speed. Finally, as far as steering the bike, you want to gently lean into it while keeping your weight on the outside. So you don't need to actually jerk the wheel around too much, more than you just need to lean from side to side depending on which direction you want to go. Upon exiting the corner, once you've regained your straight line and you're back on the road, then just resume pedaling and get after it. And finally, remember, always ride within yourself. You need to practice, practice, practice all your skills, especially cornering. So take it slow at first, get a feel for things, especially on gravel when the conditions can be a little more loose. And even on occasion, you will find your limits. Try to avoid crashing and have fun.
LeLan, thank you. The drones are pretty cool, huh?
That's a lot of fun. Great shots, hope you enjoyed them. So remember, with anything, cornering especially, keep practicing. Find your limits. Sometimes you may crash if you're comfortable with that potential result. If you're trying to push the envelope a little bit, it is a part of this sport. But always do what's comfortable for you. Mind those tips and figure out what pace around corners is comfortable for you.
Yeah, really appreciate it.
Q&A part of the show.
Did you know this was our 10th episode?
Not until I arrived and producer Matt informed me of such. Number 10.
This isn't the 10th Q&A though?
It is not the 10th Q&A. We did not start this from the beginning because we had no viewers submitting questions to us.
No, that's not true. My mom watched the first episode.
Yeah. It took a few episodes to even get my wife to watch. So.
Her main question was, what are you doing with your time? And do you have any friends? But you know.
My mother's super proud of this show.
Is she?
Yeah.
Well, my mom is now, because I have a friend. Okay, Q&A.
Your questions, our answers. Are you ready?
I'm ready.
As gravel riders, do you watch Les Tours? The Tour de France.
Ooh.
A roadie ride. Roadies, skinny wheels,
Yeah.
pavement.
Yeah, I watch it a lot. I can even say I probably watch a couple hours a day of the tour. So it's fun to watch the techniques, the strategy that they use throughout the race. And I'm kind of a history nerd, so I like to listen to, they do a lot of historical talk on the buildings and the
You just
areas.
watch for the castles, is that it?
Yeah, I like the castles. I still haven't seen anybody fighting, any sword fights, so I'm hoping for that someday.
Just cyclists fighting fans.
Yeah, they could do jousting, and that'd be pretty cool. But yes, I do watch the tour.
I watch the tour as well. Even as a gravel cyclist predominantly, I am a huge fan of the sport of cycling, and the tour is still the pinnacle. And it is this particular tour has been a fantastic one to watch. So yes, very much watch professional cycling.
Cool. These are written really well. Okay, do you guys chase Strava segments?
Well, you've talked about Strava on a previous show, and fantastic app. Love it. Love it. Whether you use it for personal gain, to race yourself against personal best, or to attack other people and race them on segments, or the training calendar, lots of good reasons to use Strava. But once upon a time, yes, I went after Strava segments with every fiber of my being. But if you look at the segments that I still own, they're from 2014. And so I am very fortunate to still have some of those, but I've not spent much time chasing those as of late.
Yeah. I mean, I wouldn't say I go out and specifically chase them. I like to see, I figure if someone has made a segment on Strava, they've made it for a reason. And there's something unique about that area. And so it's fun to plan a route based on a few segments. And yes, while I'm there, I'm going to go for it and see if I can get it. But it's also fun to see why they made the segment out there. So some are clear out in the middle of nowhere. And maybe in larger cities, I have noticed that you have maybe 30 Strava segments within a 5-mile route. But here in Kansas, I mean, you can go for miles without getting into any segment. So it's kind of fun to see why they did that. So yeah.
And for you casual cyclists that are saying, hey, that's way too racy for me, it's important to note that as an app, Strava is not about racing against one another. Even within a segment, you can click to just look at your times only and to track to see how you are improving on certain segments and stretches of road, which is a real nice tool.
Yeah.
Back to me. What do you take to eat and drink on night rides? Is your nutrition and hydration any different when the sun goes down, Bobby?
Yes, it is.
Do tell.
I typically hop into bed and go to sleep right after the ride, and I don't have any problem doing that.
No showering.
No showering. Well, yeah, it's just I get in trouble sometimes for that. But yes, I don't feel like I need to fill up before at the end of the day, and so I typically take. I'll take 2 hydration bottles with me. We're talking about a 2-hour ride here. So one bottle may have goo in it, the other bottle's just got water in it, and really, honestly, I don't really take any food with me on a night ride.
So very little solid foods.
Very little solid
before
foods.
bedtime.
Before bedtime. Yeah, I mean, I just don't feel like I need it. So
Bobby the Gremlin does not get fed after midnight.
I do not get fed after midnight.
Is that one of the rules, producer Matt? Yes.
Yes, it is a rule.
Yes.
On a longer ride, yeah, you'd have to take some food with you, but
yeah,
20-mile, 30-mile ride after dark when the weather's cool.
I think you've got a couple things to consider. One, the length of your night ride really trumps anything else when planning your nutrition. The temperatures are typically going to be a little bit cooler, so perhaps if you do want some solid foods, it does become a little bit more palatable. When it's hot, it's sometimes a little bit more difficult to get solid foods down. So just take those things into consideration. As always, with all dietary, nutrition, hydration questions, it is a very personal journey, so continue to experiment. Get out there at night, and if you've got a night event that you're preparing for, practice, practice, practice. Well in advance of the event.
With recent bad weather, is it gravel or bust? I think what they're asking is, do you do any other type of road surfaces if the weather is bad? Or do you just not ride that day?
Would I pound the pavement if the gravel roads were sloppy? Again, I think the moral of the story today with today's Q&A is that LeLan has gotten soft. But yes, today I would go seek out the pavement. And it's not because personally I am adverse to getting muddy and dirty. Once upon a time I thrived in those conditions and actually looked forward to muddy race conditions. I felt it always gave me an advantage. But now today, I don't want to clean my bike. I don't want to break parts. So I am more apt to seek out the pavement conditions or the pavement when the conditions are bad.
Yeah, I'm lazy.
Yeah.
And it's easier to hop on the road and go than trying to fight the mud or the dirt. So obviously if it's raining, you're not doing trails. So the only options is to find rideable routes on gravel or just hop on the pavement and go. So yeah, pavement.
Yeah, well, hats off to all those that continue on the gravel. Your local bike shop needs your support, and you will need a new drivetrain.
Yeah, I've bought too many derailleur hangers. So. Last question. If you could pick a superhero, Marvel or DC? Marvel? DC? Didn't matter.
All superhero worlds.
To be on the tour, who would it be? So actually to race in the tour. So if you could pick a superhero with his current existing powers to be on the tour, to win the tour.
Now you've changed it up.
To win the tour.
All right. Well, I had an answer for to be in the tour.
Anybody can be on the tour.
It's the Hulk. I'm not changing my answer. Peter Sagan is the Hulk, and that man will eat up stages like nobody's business.
Peter Sagan
with the
weighs
Hulk.
Like 160, 170.
That's hulkish for the
Hulk
pro
weighs
peloton.
Like 2 or 3 tons.
That's hulkish for the pro peloton.
You can't put the Hulk on a bike.
Massive
He'll break the
sprint.
bike. We've talked about this.
He'll have a custom built bike for the Hulk. It will be the Hulk machine.
Wolverine.
Oh, the regenerative powers.
Dude, he'd go full speed the entire day and not get tired.
That sounds like doping to me.
That's not doping.
Sounds like cellular doping.
Well, he didn't do it. Someone did it to him.
Yeah, likely excuse. They all use that one.
Wolverine.
Hulk. All day, every
That's all the
day.
questions we got today.
Weigh in
this was
on
our
the Hulk
10th
versus Wolverine
episode.
battle.
The Hulk cannot ride a bike. We had 10 episodes. Mom, we had 10 of these, Mom. So thank you for still watching. Thanks for watching, everybody. We have a bunch of races coming up in August and September, so we have some exciting months coming up.
Keep watching.
Keep watching. Thank you. Bye.